Again, I'm Melody Short, Marketing Coordinator with the Metropolitan Business League. Before we get started, I just want to say on behalf of the Metropolitan Business League, our Board of Directors and CEO Floyd Miller, I'd like to welcome you to our virtual town hall, created to ensure we continue our commitment to minority and women-owned businesses and show our ability to pivot during unprecedented times. We're excited to continue the 6-part series today to inform, educate, guide small businesses and nonprofit organizations in lieu of COVID-19. We invite you to learn more about the MBL to include programming opportunities, special events, and promotions to include our upcoming promotion in which we're offering individuals and small business owners free membership for 3 months. This allows everyone to take advantage of our robust offerings now because we realize, again, these unprecedented times require unprecedented measures and sources of support. You'll be able to access these details very soon on our website, thembl.org, along with ways in which you can continue to support the MBL so that we can continue doing the work, important work, I should say, of serving the small business community. So without further ado, I am so excited to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Monyette Childs. Dr. Monyette Childs is the Cardiovascular Health Program Manager in the Chronic Disease Prevention Section at the Georgia Department of Public Health. She has 9 years of experience as a physician specializing in ophthalmology. She served in the U.S. Army as a staff ophthalmologist, overseeing the Warfighter Refractive Eye Surgery Program as chief and serving as assistant chief ophthalmology at Wynn Army Community Hospital in Fort Stewart, Georgia. Dr. Childs' career focus shifted from providing medical care to individuals to improving the health of populations through chronic disease prevention and management. She has worked with the Department of Public Health for the past 3 years, focusing on cardiovascular disease prevention and management, worksite health, and obesity prevention. Dr. Childs received her Doctor of Medicine from Morehouse School of Medicine and MPH from George Washington University Milken Institute School of Public Health. Dr. Childs, take it away.
I will. Thank you so much, Melody. And thanks everyone for allowing me to spend a little bit of time with you today talking about maintaining and really promoting our health during these really unprecedented and quite stressful times. I thought something that I could do since I'm short on time was to pull together kind of a list of resources around health that you can peruse and look at a further time and that we could highlight together here today on the call. And so there are 3 main things I want to focus on. The first one is that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, does have some resources out targeting businesses, and they have particularly a page for small businesses to focus on things that you can do to keep you and your employees safe during this time if you have a brick and mortar business and you're doing essential functions. So I want to point that out to you. I want to talk just a little bit about those who have chronic conditions and ways that you can stay your healthiest during this time. And then third, just things that we can all do to really keep ourselves in best fighting form during these times. So I'm going to share my screen for a couple of things here just to show you. The first one is the resource page that you'll get. It's just a Word document. If you haven't gotten it already, you'll get it afterwards. It's by no means an exhaustive list. It's just some pages that I have found particularly helpful during these times to navigate some of the information that's out there. It starts out with some links that are just about coronavirus itself, but then at the bottom, there are more pages and resources focused on staying healthy through a variety of dimensions. So just wanted to show you that. The very first thing that I want to highlight again is the page that I mentioned that CDC has. Some of these things you've already found and figured out and navigated through, but in particular, they do have some tips to protect your health and employees' health if you are indeed still going to a physical location delivering business. So hopefully that some of these resources can help you do that even better than you've been doing thus far, or give you more information for doing that. The next thing I wanted to highlight is there's a really good fact sheet that was put out about those who have chronic diseases. We have seen, and you've heard this over and over, that those who are older and those who have chronic diseases are at higher risk, not necessarily for getting COVID-19, but for having more severe disease. And so some things to point out, since we don't have a vaccine, we don't have a known cure, we're trying stuff, but right now we don't have anything specifically to go to. The first thing you want to do is the things that we're telling everybody. So on the right side of the page, you want to avoid exposure as much as you can. So that's where all the things around social distancing, washing your hands, cleaning surfaces, not touching your face and eyes. Now they're talking about using face covers when you're in public. That's all of our first line of defense. For those who do have chronic illnesses though, and if you look on the left side of the page, they're particularly talking about asthma, heart disease, diabetes, if you have severe obesity, a weakened immune system, but then also they've added chronic kidney disease on dialysis as well as liver disease. These are people who can be especially vigilant right now, making up words. I always like to do that. Vigilant right now, and just doing your best to stay as healthy as you can. And really, I would say anyone, even if you have high blood pressure, if you have high cholesterol, there's anything that you're managing, this is the time really to focus as much as you can, because your goal is, first of all, not to get the virus, but if you do get it, you want your body to be in its very best state so that your immune system can do what it's designed to do and kick some virus butt, if you will, and you have a mild course of disease. So things just to know if you do have a chronic condition is, don't stop taking your medicines right now. This isn't the time to experiment with stopping. Keep doing what you're doing. If you're low or you're about to run out, please reach out. Your provider can help you get refills. I know right now people are worried about going to places, but pharmacists across the country are changing the way that they dispense. They're doing drive-thrus. They're doing ways that you can safely get your medicines. They're mailing them out. So please attend to that. If you need medicines, don't stop. If you normally check your blood pressure every day, keep doing that. If you normally check your blood sugar every day, keep doing that. And if you feel like you need to be seen and something is going on with your body, understand that even in this time, you can still make contact with your provider. The medical system is changing delivery patterns. So we're doing phone visits, telehealth visits, Zoom visits. And so if you feel like you need some help, please still continue to reach out even in these times. So those are words about those with chronic illnesses. The other thing that those who have chronic illnesses, and then everyone can do what's highlighted in blue, where we have making healthier choices every day. So I just wanted to take a second to talk about that, because there are things that we all know that we can do to keep ourselves as healthy as possible. And those are sometimes when we're in periods of stress or things are going on, we have the tendency to do things like stress eat, or we have the tendency to say, you know, let me get through this coronavirus thing and then I'm gonna start exercising. Let me get through this and then I'm gonna start doing what I know I'm supposed to do. And that's the exact opposite. Right now, this is the time to really do your best to do those things that keep you as healthy as you can be, both physically and mentally, so that you can really navigate through these really crazy times. And so the things we always want to focus on, there more, but physical activity, getting some of that in, eating nutritious meals and snacks, getting some sleep, managing your stress. I can't say that enough. We know about the mind-body connection, and I think my co-presenters are going to really hit that one, so I won't hit it as hard. And if you don't smoke, don't start now. And if you do, if you can cut back, that would be helpful during this time period. So those are the things we definitely want to focus on. But we know that right now we're operating under a good bit of constraints about the way we move in space, especially around social distancing. And so some of the resources that that are on the sheet, I just want to highlight, help you in making some of these healthy choices. Like for instance, if you go to the Black Women's Health Imperative, and they've created a whole coronavirus resource page, so please check that out. But even thinking about how you're going to plan a trip to get your groceries, whether you have to delivery or whether you have to pick up, you want to minimize trips, you want to think about things that you can have to stock up so you have snacks for you and the kids with some of the extra time that the kids may have. And so they have a great resource about planning ahead, thinking of things that you can buy that will last and be healthy for you. So I wanted to point that out.
Dr. Childs, you have 2 minutes remaining.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I am almost done. And then one other thing I wanted to show is the American Heart Association has a really good resource page, and a lot of people have them, but ways that the whole family can be moving more at home. So in terms of physical activity, if you can get outside safely, you want to with fresh air, but we know with social distancing that can be hard. So they have just a number of ideas, things that you can do in the house right now, be productive and work out. Things like dancing it out and having a party that improves your mood, getting those chores done, marching in place while you watch your, reality TV, your Housewives, whatever you watch, your guilty pleasure, getting exercise during that. Those are ways that you can move inside. And then the last thing I just want to share, I mentioned it, and again, I know other people are going to talk about it, but we can't stress enough right now doing things to support yourself emotionally right now. Number one, not watching the news feeds all day long. Please, please, please do not do that. Doing things to take care of your body and making sure you connect with others. The last thing that I just want to mention is that it's truly a misnomer as we talk about social distancing. It's really physical distancing, right? So that we can't pass the virus to each other. But this is really a time to really focus on, there's my alarm. This is really a time to focus on being as close socially and emotionally connected and checking on each other and taking care of each other as we can. And so I will end there. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves, and I look forward to interacting with you in the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Dr. Childs. That was fabulous. And also, as someone who loves planning events and keeping things on time, that was amazing. You planned it perfectly. So now we'll hear from Anita Ham. She is a licensed therapist and respiratory therapist, owner and founder of the Tutelage Group. Anita, whenever you're ready.
So, Dr. Childs, you left off on a great point, and I'm so excited that you said what you said regarding the physical distancing, but the emotional closeness. All righty. So, during this time, of course, we know that it's both difficult and challenging. So, and we are living ultimately in a war zone. Guys, I am a respiratory therapist and a therapist. So imagine I'm keeping everyone else calm, my students, my families, parents, and all of a sudden I have to go to work. Now I'm part-time as a therapist, so I'm like, okay, I'm good. And until you have to go in there and put that personal protective equipment on, and we're making moment-to-moment updates and changes to improve the system, to reduce the spread, to reduce the infection, guys, I felt the sensation of being overwhelmed and almost fearful. So I really want to start there. I want to start with, guys, and for everybody on, transparency is required today. So it's required for yourself. You guys, assess your fears, your frustrations, and your insufficiencies. Right now, as business owners, not only are we afraid of being infected, now we're afraid of how our business is going to manage. And how do we manage those frustrations? How do we manage our mindsets during this time? So the first thing I really want to say is, if you don't have a mind, you can't manage anything. So you can't manage your business, you can't manage your family, you can't manage reducing the spread, you can't do any of that. So right now, the biggest thing you can do is recognize your capacity and recognize where you are, where you want to be, and where you need to be. So when it comes to your business, think about it like this. What am I fearful of? And you can literally write them out like that. I feel blank about my business. Is it sad? Am I feeling that I may not be able to survive this thing? Am I feeling that it's going to overwhelm me in the process? And then look at the insufficiencies. And I say this on both ends. We're going to the stores. We're not able to get everything that we need. Half of our needs are being met. In the same with our business, if our finances aren't there or we can't physically go to our fit space, you had to adjust and adapt mentally just to get yourself prepared to do business differently. And so I want everyone to really understand and recognize that we're all grieving. So we're grieving business as usual. We may be grieving some financial changes. We may be grieving the loss of roles or the increase in roles that we may be taking on during this time. And also just life as usual. So I want everyone to first give themselves a round of applause and say that you made it through. Like you made it to, I don't know if this is week 3 or week 4, y'all. I'm kind of in it where I'm like, I don't know which day it is, but I know I'm in it. We're all in it together. And so I want you to realize that you've made it through. And so you basically, everyone right now would require, I don't want to say we're required, but what word am I looking for? So we will all qualify right now for an adjustment disorder, put it like that. So being clinically diagnosed, anytime you have any adjustment, like moving is an adjustment, starting a new business is an adjustment, adapting to anything new in your life, a new role, a new responsibility, a new job is an adjustment. So I want people to know that getting over this is not going to be a tomorrow thing or as soon as everything opens back up thing, and give yourself time to adjust to your new normal and where you are right now also. Your new normal is your new normal, but it's still temporary. So think about it like that. So going on to our thoughts so our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions, it's a triangle. So what we think, if we're thinking, I'm fearful, our emotions tend to say, I'm sad, I don't know what to do, I'm uncertain, I don't know how to manage. And then it then leads into our actions where we may fall into a brief depression. We may become just extremely sad and I don't really want to go out. I don't want to engage in the activities as normal. Right now, I have a lot of students who are not participating in any of the school things. Guys, this is overwhelming. And it's so overwhelming our family systems, individual systems, and our business systems. So the awareness part is getting us to really understand our mental and our physical signs and symptoms that we're recognizing right now. Do you have any thoughts of just extreme sadness, feeling like you can't cope with this, feeling like I may not be able to make it out of this, feeling like my business may not be able to make it out of this? But then also looking at the physical. Do I have headaches? Do I have upset stomachs? Am I feeling things that I normally don't feel? Do I just not feel well? Do I feel uncertain? Because when we're aware of it, you guys, we can then shape that into the implementation part of what do I need to do to rectify this? How can I develop a plan or get my support team in place to help me with this? So one of the biggest things is kind of recognizing where you are. And like I say, transparency is required. So this is going to take I need y'all to reflect today on your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions towards any area of life. You can go through and do your whole life cycle and just put in every area. How do I feel financially, business, personally, emotionally, family system, career, just every system. You can go ahead and reflect on where you are so that then we can start creating that step-by-step plan. We're going to treatment plan your life during COVID, y'all. So the next one goes into our assessment. So an accurate assessment is required. And so right now we're going to assess the impact. So for some of us, we may not be working. For me, my business is largely face-to-face. So I've had to adjust and adapt and transform things very quickly to online, or I don't have a business, meaning I don't have income coming in. So guys, this is a time for you to be, if you have the capacity, because that's what I realized, everyone doesn't have the capacity to be creative during this time, to thrive during this time. But if you have the capacity to thrive during this time, think of a way that you can be creative with your business. Say, how can I teach people something online? because there's still finances out there. People are still spending during this time, but you have to find a way to make you thrive and your business thrive. And also that keeps our brain functioning. It takes us out of that kind of sadness place or that depressive state. It's saying, oh, I have something to focus on. I have work to do. I have something to look forward to. So for me, it's I love to create. So I'm always creating something new, and that keeps my mind active and healthy, because even adjusting to being in a household setting, it was tough. So this is week 3. I'm finally feeling like I'm adjusted to being at home consistently. So I know just the adjustment period doesn't always allow us to thrive. So once you find that space and that place for you to thrive mentally and physically, you guys do it. Get out, get you some sun. Try to exercise, even like Dr. Child said, jumping jacks in place, doing something where you can activate that mind body thing in your home, guys. Anything you can do to jog that.
Ms. Ham, sorry to interrupt. You have 2 minutes for me.
I got 2 minutes. Okay. And so our last one is activation. So we're going to activate our coping skills, or our, what I like to say, our emergency response and tactics. You guys, coping requires a mindset to hope for something better. Okay. So without hope, guys, we can't cope, and we don't cope. We just kind of exist. So with that being said, you may need to take a break. You may need to call a close friend or family member. You may need to seek medical or mental health services. In my next slide, I did list a few resources. Guys, get the help you need during this time. If you need a supportive business person, there are many business supports that are out there as well. Find those resources. And if you need, just email me, email anyone on this panel and say, hey, I need a resource for this, so that you can thrive both mentally and physically during this time. And the last thing I want to say is partnership and support is critical. So stay connected to those who support you and your business. And I'm going to share the next slide, which is our resources. And our resources are, of course, Psychology Today. If you feel that you need to contact a mental health professional, guys, we are out here. Also, you can connect with me at thetutelagegroup.com under our Book Me session. We're doing free coaching sessions right now, because sometimes we just need strategy for our business. We need strategy for our life. And we just need that support of someone else. And also the Small Business Owner's Guide to the CARES Act. So there are many resources there that the SBA has in place for us to continue to thrive during this difficult time. So thank you guys for having me. I look forward to chatting with you guys also in the questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ham. We really, really appreciate hearing from you. And now we'll hear from Natasha Freeman, health and wellness expert and founder of Lucid Living. So Natasha, whenever you're ready.
Okay, yes, I've been unmuted. Yay. I was like, am I gonna have to do it myself or what?
We got you covered.
On top of the stress. No, I'm joking. That's me. If you know me, I'm really grateful to be here on this call. Gosh, first I want to say this, Dr. Childs, in such a short period of time, you were able to really, everything I wanted to share, you already shared it. So there we go, right? And then Miss Anita Ham, same thing. So I feel like you all have already shared all the things that I really wanted to share, which is really awesome, because it really shows me, it makes me feel good that we're on the same page, right? That we're on the same page. But first, this is what I would like to do. Me being my little bit of just a different approach when is that I really focus on mind, body, and spirit in a more holistic way. And so really the things that have been spoken of prior to me coming on are the things that I definitely would recommend. What I would like to ask everyone that's on the call right now to do, yes, I'm the engaging person. So I would love to ask everyone, because I'm that woo-woo girl, is to see if we can I want us to take just a few moments to bring awareness to our breath. So if you're in a position to get feet onto the ground, because that's when we really can connect to Mother Earth and we can really begin to start to feel grounded. If you can get feet onto the ground, you can rest the hands into the thighs. If you're sitting, if you're laying, whatever you're doing, I want you to get into a place of just of rest and ease. So if you're gonna rest the hands onto the thighs, you wanna sit tall if you're sitting. If you're lying down, I want you to lie down tall. And so if it's available, we can close the eyes. If you don't feel comfortable with that, it's all good. We can just bring a softness to the gaze. And together, I want us to do 3 cleansing breaths. So smooth, full breath in through the nose, sitting tall, reaching up through the crown of the head. And then open the mouth, exhale, release, let it go. Good, a smooth, full breath in, sit tall. Open the mouth, exhale, release, let it go. Good, last time like that, I want you to take smooth, full breath in. Be grateful for that fullness of life that flows in on the inhale. And with the exhale, I want you to shed, release, and let go anything that is no longer serving the mind, the body, or the spirit. And if the eyes are closed now, you can begin to just blink them open gently. Still keeping a softness in the gaze. I want us to start to just bring awareness to the breath and keep it to a place of that it's just an easeful inhale and an easeful exhale through the nose, right? And so we're coming back into focus now. We're bringing our attention and awareness back to the call. But I want you all to know that's on this call that is the power that you have. Like if we're in this place of feeling the frenzy, right, and the stress of what's going on, and I get it, we are really in this thing together. We have the power outside of the things that we already know, right? I grew up learning to wash my hands after, well, after everything, and I'm pretty OCD, so I do it all, after all the things and touching things, public places, touching handles. So I love that while these are things that many of us have been taught, these are things that now are being really brought to the forefront of like some really, like these are protocols that should be looked at worldwide to reduce disease. And so I feel that when it comes to, so we know those things and we know all the things. I'm really grateful for the CARES Act that has all the information and the guidance and the resources for us as business owners to go out and help get help financially. But what are we doing within ourselves? Right? What are we really doing within ourselves? And just like if you are feeling stressed and you're able to come back to the breath, that's the power that you have to be able to switch, to really kind of rewire what's happening in the mind and the body and the spirit, and therefore creating a stronger foundation for health, for total health, like total health and wellness. So really, I want to just give you a few little tidbits of things that you all could be doing. Or could incorporate, right? Just like Dr. Child said, anything that you were doing before, I would highly encourage you to continue to do those things. If you had medicine that you were prescribed before, I would continue to take those. If you're using your asthma inhalers and pumps, I will continue to do all the things that you've been doing. And so this is not a take away anything, but this is just a reminder of what we can create to have more fullness. And so for the first thing, it might seem really simple, but we just got to stay in routine out here in these streets. So we got to stay routine. I showered today. Y'all see I put on a little face. I mean, I'm totally winning in my life because that doesn't really even happen on a regular basis. But I decided that, you know what, you can take tragedy to times and turn into triumphant times. And we can do that by allowing ourselves, if we're not even in a flow of routine, to get into a flow of routine. Just like Dr. Child says, if we're not moving, we can start moving. And so right now where we're at is a place of just being able to connect with routine. I know the children are home. I know some of us are remote working. We're not used to remote working. Side note, I'm really excited to have so many people now in a place that I've been for 14 years. It's like you be on this lonely road, this lonely kind of boat of like being on this like island by yourself. You feel now everyone is feeling the thing. And so we, even in that way, it's like bringing us closer together, at least even for me, because I'm so used to being on this island of the small business owner play, right? But if the children are home, if you're staying at home because you're remote working, if you're not working, we can still stay in a routine. So if you woke up every morning and shower, I would say, hey, maybe you continue to do so. If you brushed your teeth and all those things, seriously, breakfast, very, very important. I mean, our nutrition definitely is a huge component of what helps to fuel our immune system, and not just the immune system, but the other systems in the body. Digestive, the endocrine, the lymphatic. So staying in routine. staying in routine. And then if that routine didn't include work on the mind and the body and the spirit, this is a beautiful time to be able to kind of implement and to insert those things. So the first thing, before we talk about mind, body, spirit, let's go physical first. It's the movement that Dr. Childs has been talking about, right? It's the movement. We have to move the body. So from my perspective in my work, energy is something that we all have, right? We all have energy. That is, the atoms in the body are created from energy, right? The cells and the molecules, everything, it's all fueled by energy. And so that energy in the body, if we don't move, it gets stuck in the body and it creates dis-ease. So dis-ease, we know, it's just like, oh, my shoulder hurts. Oh, my neck hurts. Oh, my lower back hurts. These are probably the places I hear all the time that people come in every day talking about that are in dis-ease. And then if dis-ease goes unchecked, dis-ease turns into disease. It's what it is. It's just what it is. And so that's why movement is so important. And so if it means, look, Dr. Childs said it best, I love me a dance party. So you need to have a dance party in the house by yourself. If you got animals, just let it all loose. Do it. We have to. I think now what the times are, this pandemic is showing us is that some of the things that we looked at and thought of as luxuries are now things that we have to incorporate into our lives. And not just now, but for the future and forever. This is about a lifestyle change. And I think that unfortunately we have to go through things that are this magnitude. God, it's crazy that we have to experience these things to really see and kind of get ourselves back in check and to get back realigned, right? And so for physical, we have to move in some way, shape, form, or fashion. If it's safe for you to be outside, you got to. I'm sorry. I'm not the nice one. I'm not the one that's saying like you should. I'm like, you have to. You have to move.
Miss Freeman, you have 2 minutes remaining.
Thank you. You have to move. Spiritually, so I would say spiritually, we have to have faith. We have to find faith in something. Look, I'm not going to tell you what you need to have your faith in. I'm just suggesting that you have the faith and you get grounded in it and you get rooted in that faith. Right. And so that means you study and you're learning and whatever that is. And because then we can trust and know that these times are temporary. Right. And then when we look at more the mental space, right, specifically the mental space, we have to train and discipline the mind. Mental health issues and concerns run rapid in our community, in our communities. Small business owners, the added pressures, and then just in the community in general. And so I would really encourage everyone to find some type of way to ground down into that stability when we're feeling the fear and the things that are arising. So I would definitely encourage folks to step into some type of way, shape, or form meditation. Meditation is really not a void of thought. It's just kind of connecting or like kind of letting the thoughts and the things to drift away as you bring awareness back to your focus. And so I encourage you all, gosh, I love to talk, sorry. I love to talk, but I know my time is running out, but for my body and spirit, those are the three things that I would encourage you all to focus on, and not even just to focus on, but really need to have a necessity to focus on. I mean, here at the studio, of course, we're closed, but we're finding all kind of ways similar to Anita to take and create business elsewhere and virtually. So I'm really excited and looking forward to the Q&A time too, because I know that all of us are definitely a resource in so many different capacities. So I'm really grateful. Thank you to the Metropolitan Business Lead. Thank you for hosting, Melody, and thank you all for even the folks that are on the panel. I've enjoyed my experience with you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Freeman. And now we will hear from spiritual coach, business coach, inspirational speaker, and workshop facilitator, Ms. Rita Ricks. I think we got to get you unmuted a little bit.
Okay. Okay, here I am. Hey, everybody.
You sound amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Andrea, what an amazing panel. If you had had one more guest, I would just bow out and walk out completely, because so much of what I've heard is exactly what I was hoping this audience that we have is hearing. And it starts with the spirit. So let me just say that I believe that the entire universe is in pause.
Mm-hmm.
We have had to slow our rhythm. And I am grateful for that, because we were going in way too many directions and they weren't all healthy.
Yeah.
And so this is an opportunity for us to reconnect with our spirit, to understand that even with everything that's going on around us, we are still spirit. We came here as spirit, we will leave as spirit. And so when we connect with our spirit, we become centered and we're able to manage so much better. So having said that, I want to talk real quickly, and many of you who know me have heard this before, but I love to talk about the gifts that we all have. And the G stands for being grateful. You must wake up in the morning and speak to how grateful you are for something, because you can spend all day talking about what you don't like, but you need to focus on what you are in fact grateful for. And you don't say the same thing for being grateful every day, because there's so much to be grateful for. So if you could get in the habit of waking up and just settling on, what am I grateful for today? What am I expecting to be wonderful today? I simply say, this is the best day of my life today, because it's the only day I have. And so I'm excited about it, and I am grateful for it. Get you a journal and begin to write in that journal. You can call it a grateful journal. You can call it a letter to God. It doesn't matter. Just write. Because the more you write, the more you're able to get things out of your head. And the more you get things out of your head, the more you're able to allow new thoughts and ideas to come in. So you, whether you are the CEO of your business or the CEO of your life, you need to act like you own your business and yourself. So write down, get that journal and be comfortable in writing in it every morning. So the G stands for being grateful. The I in gifts is about being intentional. This is a time now where you're home, where you don't have to drive and you're not going to a lot of meetings. Begin to do some of the things that the other ladies have told you to do. What do you need to start doing? What do you need to stop doing? And what do you need to continue doing? This is a really good time for that. Again, our rhythm has slowed. So some of those things that you were saying, oh, I need to stop this, stop it. Some of those things that you've been saying, oh, I need to start this, start it. And those things that are working for you, continue with them. But be intentional. Don't just let one day go into the next to the next, because that's not living. Living is about being purposeful and intentional with everything that you do, because you enjoy it, because you know this is the path you're supposed to be on. So we've got G is about being grateful in gifts. I is about being intentional. F is about fearing less. There's no time to be scared. There's only time to take care of yourself and those that you love. I had somebody the other day to tell me, I'm just so fearful about my grandchildren's future, and I just don't know what to do. And I said, stay inside. Stay inside. That's what you can do for your children's future. Follow your grandchildren's future. Follow the instructions that we're being told. Stay inside. Wash your hands. Do everything we've heard. That's how you take care of you. And so there's no need to be fearful. You are going to be led by spirit. So fearing less is the F that's in gifts. The T is about living in today. This is all we have. We can't do anything about yesterday, and tomorrow is not promised. This is all we have. So stay present in today. Be intentional in today. Fear less in today, and be grateful for today and all that comes with that. all that comes with being grateful and really getting a sense of who you are as a person. I ask clients all the time, what is it you want? The first thing they tell me is, well, what I don't want. And I'm saying, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear what you don't want. I want to know what you do want. And that's what you need to think about today. What is it that you want? Moving forward, what do you want? Not what you need, because need oftentimes comes from a place of lack. But what do you want? Think about all this time that you've got to do these things, to get your bucket list together, then to put it on your vision board, and then to be all of the wonderful things that you've decided you want to be. And the S in gifts is about silence. I love the breathing that Natasha just did, because you have to stop. Multitasking is a myth, by the way. You have to stop. You have to settle down. Clients tell me, well, you know, I'm quiet when I'm driving, but you're still driving. I want you to settle down. I want you to be totally silent, just to listen to the thoughts that come in and then allow them to go out. The thoughts come in and they go out. That's how you center yourself. That's how you bring balance into your life. That's how you begin to understand you are not alone. Even when you're by yourself, you are not alone. Your spirit is guiding you, and you just need to be quiet in order to hear that. So those are the gifts. Those are the gifts. Now, I want you in this time also to look at what's available. What's available for me to do? What are the opportunities that are out there? I've been thinking about starting a business. So, you know, what can I do? Well, there are opportunities that are out there that weren't here 6 weeks ago, but they're here now. What's inside of you that you've been wanting to do? What problem do you see that you know right now you can solve? That's how you start a business. By not doing something that it sounds good, but something that feels good, that you know you can commit to because it speaks to every fiber of your body. The opportunities are there. And finally, my final question to you is, who do you plan to be moving forward? We know that there's some normalcy that we will not see again. And right now, we're in a new normal. So you have to create this new normal. How are you going to live in it? Who are you going to be? Are you going to stay in that same job, in that same relationship, doing those same things and you're not liking it? Or are you going to begin to pull out of same and move into what you want? I know that I keep saying that because it really is, again, about what it is you want. And we spend too much time talking about what we don't want. I'm simply asking you to talk about what it is you want. The opportunities are out there. If you're in business, what else can you be doing? What other products do you have? I mean, 6 weeks ago, I didn't know anything about Zoom. And I'm a coach and a trainer. And now I'm getting ready to I'm going to buy some shares from Zoom. I'm serious, because it's like, what? To me, it's amazing. And so I'm learning and I'm growing. And I had a conversation with my business coach today, and I'm talking to my spiritual coach this afternoon. I have somebody assessing my business. Patrick will tell you, Patrick McFadden, I'm working with him. This is a time for me to take a look at all parts of my business. We're doing a SWOT analysis. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? This is a time to do that because, again, the planet has slowed. The planet has slowed. And there is a poem by Kitty O'Meara that I encourage you.
You have 1 minute remaining.
I got it. Kitty O'Meara. She wrote this amazing poem. You can Google it. And it talks exactly about where we are. But we have choices. Right now, we have choices. And I want you to make your choices, because let me tell you something. Not making a decision is a decision. So please, please, please take this time to just reimagine, recreate yourself, and be the amazing person that I know you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ricks. That was fabulous. And now, everyone, we're going to get to the moment that we've all been waiting for. I certainly have. We're going to open up live Q&A. And so to do that, this is your opportunity to ask our experts to help you in your life, your business, your organization. If you have a question for a particular person, just please include that in your question. But you can use the Q&A button, which is for most people who are on a laptop or tablet or larger screen. It's going to be at the center rightmost button of Q&A. If you're on your cell phone, it'll be probably towards the top of the app. It's a little small graphic that says Q&A with a little box around it. And you can use that to ask your question. In addition, you can raise your hand like we practiced earlier. And what we'll do is we will unmute your mic and grant you the ability to ask your question live. And so at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Jasmine. I know that we had a couple of thoughts that were in the chat that have been going on. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Jasmine.
There we go. Hello, everyone. And I will say, like Andrea mentioned, we've had a lot of good points and comments that have come across in the comments. So I do want to just touch on a few, and this may spark any comments or any questions that other people may have. So if you do think of anything while I am speaking, as Andrea mentioned, you can either just raise your hand or you can drop it in the Q&A or even in the chat, and we'll definitely mention it. So I want to go to John Kostaniak. He's actually he does a lot of SWAM business, and he mentioned something that I think is excellent to state. Let me close out one box, close this. It says, Dr. Childs, this was in reference to your talk, and you discussed face masks and cleaners, etc., ways to stay healthy. So he mentioned that many of our SWAM businesses that are actually associated with MBL can get some of the PPE supplies that have been shipping hard to find items, so those face masks, gloves, and whatnot. So definitely look into those SWAM businesses for different supplies that you may need yourself. We definitely want to utilize those SWAM businesses. And we see a lot of the big box stores out of the supplies, but we forget, to think about our local SWAM businesses. So don't forget about them. So thank you so much, John, for that. Going to what Rita Rick said. Rita Rick, you mentioned about journaling. I've had people say journaling is definitely a way to help cope with your stress. So thank you so much for mentioning that. And then Myra Smith, she actually also commented the poem about from Katie O'Meara. So if anyone has not heard the poem, read it or anything like that, definitely, I know I copied it and pasted it, so I will remember. So definitely look in the chat. Thank you so much, Myra, for putting that in there. I'm gonna read some more. One question that we do have, and this isn't mentioned, this is not for any particular panelist, so all are welcome to answer, comes from Allison Hunter. Hello, Allison. She writes, and I definitely love this, what exercises / activities do you recommend for children or youth during this transition time? So I know a lot of children are having to stay home from school, doing the homeschooling, but we do want to offer some time for them to do some type of physical activity. So what do you all recommend?
So I have a suggestion. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so Allison, why don't you, I recommend that you suggest that I have the kids to do a vision board. They can do it very easily. They can just take 3 minutes to figure out what they want to do next year in school, and then cut pictures, put them on a board, put some dates next to them, and they can get started on it even now. So I think a vision board would be great for any kids, regardless of the age.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Rita.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 8 minutes remaining left.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
I do have a comment as well from Miss Saunders. She writes, I just want to thank all of the ladies for this amazing Zoom. It was physically, mentally, and spiritually fulfilling. God bless everyone on this call and be safe. So thank you so much. I definitely will agree with that. All our panelists have provided great information to cope with our stress and our health, and to better our health during this time. Allison also wrote, thanks, Rita. One comment, Dr. Childs, I'll actually turn the mic over to you if you want to expound more on Allison's question or answer that.
Oh, sure. I was just putting in the chat, so thinking about chores, I can tell you my mom, she should have been a general in the Army. She could come up with a list of chores that could make you move around that house. You know, you could clean out a cabinet, we'd be washing windows, we'd be things that they can do. You know, if they're older, they don't like them as much, but when you're like 8 and 9, they love doing stuff like that. So getting them a list of things to do. If you have any old school games, I'm just thinking about kids, like Twister, or, you know, even hide and seek, just thinking of some of the games that we used to play that didn't necessarily, you know, have 20 million pieces to them. Just things like that. And of course, they can always join your dance party.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Dr. Childs. I don't see any more questions, but I want to ask, I guess it's more of a question. Oh, go ahead. Yes.
Those are great, the vision boarding and active chores. I love it. In addition to those suggestions, I would also suggest trying something, even maybe something you haven't done before. One thing that I love to always suggest everyone to try is sound therapy, like sound meditation. It's something that you all, not only the children can be a part of, but it can be a whole family experience, and it's something that you can even do virtually in the house. And so, I mean, here we offer a sound and we all the time, but we've taken them on virtually. But you can just go on YouTube. You can find a free maybe if you want to find like a 30-minute video on YouTube that's playing the singing bowls. So they're the Himalayan singing bowls. You can use the crystal bowls. Not even just those. You can also, then there's a whole host of instruments we can use for sound therapy and sound healing. So I would suggest searching on YouTube like sound healing, sound meditation. And then these are things that not only can the children partake in, that you all can partake in, and it'll keep everyone's crazy levels down.
Thank you so much. Anything else from the panelists on that question?
Yes, I'll just share that there right now are so many free resources online for physical activity for children. I actually had this link because I had to send one to a parent last week. So at the BJ School Outreach and Youth Development, there was one activity. I had an 8-year-old, and it basically spelled out their name, and it was different little exercises for each letter of their name. So things to keep them physically active. And parents, you can create your own little board. You can say, for A, you're going to do 5 jumping jacks, or B, you do 2 spin arounds. Like, just create. Guys, this is the time to be creative. Sometimes we're making things difficult, but be creative, and just the kids enjoy it. I saw something even yesterday they had a teddy bear hunt around the house. So they're just doing things to keep their kids active and moving, but like you say, not being necessarily stir crazy, just being in that isolated situation. So yeah, resources. Google and YouTube have great resources and printable worksheets too.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Thank you so much, Anita. Just to piggyback off of that, another question is, any mental health activities? I know you've already mentioned that there are a lot of things that you can find on YouTube to help with those different various activities, but specifically her children, they internalize a lot of their feelings and they don't express them. So of course, social media is very apparent nowadays. So anything that you all recommend?
Also for that, if you look up SEL, so social and emotional learning tools, right now there are so many worksheets. I know Myle, MYLEMARKS.com, they have a lot right now, and I'm sharing a lot of those with families and individuals. So look up social and emotional learning tools for children, and you can do it for high school, for middle school. You can break up the category. So you will have a lot of mental health resources there, and things that some of them can do independently, and some that you can then share with them to go over it with you. So yes, can you repeat the site? Yeah, I'll type it in the box. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. So yeah.
You're good.
And
Awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for your time today. We have about 3 minutes left in the session. Excellent questions. Excellent job. Way to go, Jasmine, for leading us in our chat. I did want to say thank you so much. And at this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Melody, who will help us bring the town hall to a close. And I think, Melody, we just have to get you off mute, if that's okay. There we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm just talking. I was going to just say, I don't know that it's fair or even okay to say if you have a favorite session, me personally, because I felt like us putting this together, all of these were resources that small business owners could use. Personally, this has been my favorite. I'm just going to say it. This has been my absolute favorite session. It has served me quite well. I have an entire page full of notes. So thank you so much, Anita and Dr. Childs and Natasha and Ms. Rick. This has been incredibly helpful for my personal self, and I'm sure for everyone else on the call. I want to just thank all the participants for spending your lunch hour with us. We are hopeful you are leaving the session more informed, more encouraged with the tools provided by the speakers today. We ask that you join us for the remaining 3 sessions of the Metropolitan Business League Town Hall Series, scheduled for every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. through April 21st. Join us for our next session next Tuesday, April 14th, where we will be discussing what marketing should all small business owners be doing right now, featuring special guest Patrick McFadden with Indispensable Marketing, Nicole Lewis with Visual Appeal, and representatives from BLKRVA and Richmond Regional Tourism. They'll be offering resources they have available to create additional visibility for small businesses during this time. And as always, continue to follow us on all Facebook, on all social media platforms. On Facebook, we can be found at the MBL, and on Instagram at MBLRVA for the latest information on resources, programming, and special events in support of minority and women-owned businesses. I want to just remind you all again, we are going to be running officially our membership promotion, details forthcoming on the MBL's website, but essentially you'll be able to receive 3 months of membership complimentary so that you can take advantage of the resources we're providing now in July 1st. Like now through July 1st. So again, I thank you. Everyone have a wonderful day, and thanks a ton.